But we were hoping to get you up here to go on and talk a little bit about, of course, your record deal, the 20th anniversary, a little bit of history of the band, and of course, a lot of the talent that's been in and around the band and who's been there. So I thought I'd just lob it out there and just let you take it and run with it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
2005 in August, we first met, and Mike Henderson, who passed away recently, was the architect.
I call him the architect.
He's the one that brought the original five together and play. And it was pretty much going to be just for play a nightly gig once a week to make extra money, and
for fun.
And for fun. Yeah.
Yes.
So it kind of got legs. You know, the original songs started to flow out. I think we earned one copy song.
One
first.
Cover, yeah. Gonna Sleep with One Eye Open, Flat and Scruggs tune.
Flat and Scruggs tune. And after that, they started throwing in, well, how about this one? Can we make this sound like kind of bluegrass? Can these five instruments make this song
work? Yeah, musically work.
And it was amazing because a lot of the demos sounded like rock and roll. Pretty much.
Well, and to even predate the band, Chris Stapleton and Mike Henderson had been writing together 4 or 5 years at that point. So really, I think Hendo, as we call him, had the ulterior motive of, as he would say in his own clever way, playing the songs that were just laying around going to waste. So it became a vehicle, you know, for them to play a lot of songs that they had been writing, and it was pretty masterful. You know, we got together like Mike Fleming just was explaining, and I couldn't believe the songs. I mean, I had met Mike Henderson back in the mid-'90s. He and I were involved in an indie label there in Nashville called Dead Reckoning, and knew that he was a great songwriter, of course. We worked together 4 or 5 years in that setting, and then hadn't really worked with him until I got that fateful call in August of 2005. But the songs they started pulling out, you know, like Mike said, we did this one cover song, and then just song after song after song, and I kept thinking, wow, is this an old Stanley song that I somehow missed growing up? You know, something like Can't Be Good, Be Gone just sounded so authentic and so traditional. And they're like, no, we wrote it. I was like, okay. So it happened very quickly that I think we all realized, wow, there's just an unbelievable amount of material here that is working really well. So that's kind of how it came together. And even, you know, like you were saying, where these songs work, once we kind of all got in on, let's do this. Let's keep getting together on a Sunday night and seeing what happens. Really, the parameter became, well, if Richard can figure out a banjo part, then we can play the song. That's still to this day how the SteelDrivers work. If Richard can figure out a banjo part, then chances are we can do the song.
Yeah, because I remember...
No pressure on Richard, but...
Chris or Mike would go, I don't think we can do Sticks and Made Thunder. I don't think that's going to work for us.
Yeah.
And Richard, I'm
he was
not
like,
scared.
we got to do that song. And he would figure it out. It's amazing.
And Chris said, I don't know if Rainbows will work. I heard it one time, him just noodling, and I'm like, God, that song's so good. I don't know if it's for us. It's like... But
and Midnight Train to Memphis, same thing. I mean, that's really, almost like a Zeppelin tune with that big riff. And
I know.
Richard figured it out and kicks the thing off. You know, it's.
So we woodshedded, and then we went out and played at a VFW hall in Franklin, Tennessee.
Yes.
Just to anybody that was in there, the veterans and some friends. We did that for several months.
Oh yeah.
To try to work it all out. Yes, to try to not go into the world famous Station Inn and suck.
Well, and in all honesty, it was again a smart play by Henderson, because he knew with all the different people that were in the band that if we booked a show, chances are people were going to come.
Right.
Because he was well known
Right.
in circles. Richard, was very well known in the bluegrass world.
Yeah.
I was somewhat well known. You may have been the only ringer, Mike. I don't know. Were you well known?
I came in on the friend deal. I knew Henderson in college.
Yeah.
And played music several years.
Yeah.
So I think he goes, Fleming plays a little bass and he can sing harmony.
Oh, yeah. He tapped you to be
That
the
was
singer.
thing.
Yeah.
Henderson and Richard wouldn't have to sing. That was the whole deal.
And somewhere around there,
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, you had been involved in a hit or two on some country.
Oh, as a writer.
yeah.
Mhm.
Is it right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that was kind of in between the Reckoner thing and then the Steel's taken off. But yeah, so that's why we kind of laid low for a while and played the VFWs and places
idea.
outside of town,
It was.
just
Yeah.
so when we did play a gig in town, we hit it pretty hard.
Right.
Yeah.
It was,
And shortly after, played for Rounder Records, at the IBMA, that used to be in Nashville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And Rounder said, hey, we'd like to sign you. And
Yeah.
so it just kind of moved and we signed and put a record out.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you folks were nominated. You've been nominated for different Grammys and things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And
yeah, that first record came out and believe it or not was nominated for a country Grammy.
Dual vocal. of the
Yeah.
year.
And let's see, I think Sugarland whooped us that year, which was interesting because it's supposed to be a duo or a group, and then there was no harmony on that record. It was just Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. That was a little
different.
suspect, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, and then the next record, Reckless, came out in 2010, and it was nominated for 2 Grammys. And they got really confused that year because we were again in the country category and then also in the bluegrass category. So we lost both categories that year.
It's easy to lose them. Winning is
Winning's
the
a
hard
little
part.
bit harder, yeah.
Yeah.
But finally in 2015 we released the Muscle Shoals recordings, and I guess all the stars aligned, and we
But you
won that
grew
silly
a
thing.
ton of fans, regardless of
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Beyonce Grammys and things that are out there.
Yeah.
The real fan base is what. So here you are. I mean, you folks, how many dates do you have a year? I mean, you folks churn out some work and multiple. I mean, I know most of the venues you're going to communities and playing the full weekend, not just 2 days, 3 days. I mean, you're
Yeah.
This year that's
Yeah.
kind of been by design.
Yeah.
It happens, randomly sometimes, but this year we try to push for it.
Yeah.
Just try to.
well by popularity. I mean, you could say by design, but
Yeah,
they're
and
coming out.
It makes it, we're not 20 anymore, Mark.
Well.
we're not 40 anymore.
As we were referencing Saturday
not
Night
60
Live from
anymore.
Right.
back 30 years ago.
Right. So, I mean, part of that is by design because
Yeah.
it definitely makes
The wear
it
and tear.
easier for
Sure.
us to travel
Absolutely.
and still get in a certain number of shows. I mean, last year was a little bit lighter year. I think we wound up doing just under 40 dates, and this year will probably be closer to 60.
Yeah.
But by the time you factor in your travel days to get everywhere and all the wear and tear, it's considerable. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to make it as easy on ourselves, but also, offer unique situations for our fan base. I mean, like coming to Walhalla. We've been doing this since long before we could sell it out, but it's a great spot for us. We love coming here. We love the room. It sounds amazing. And now to be able to play 2 nights in a row and possibly play in front of, what would that be, 900 people,
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than finding another 1,000 cap room
Right.
someplace within an hour of here.
Right.
It's just nice for us to be able to have a sit down for a
Yeah.
couple days.
And you have so much incredible merchandise now that you
We
your own
do.
vehicle that you have to carry that. Who wants
Yeah.
to lug all that in?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
CDs and shirts and again the Sun record. I mean that's a big deal. I mean here is 20th anniversary and you've
Yeah.
landed that record deal, which is is big. on any
Sometimes
level,
you just
anytime.
can't plan these things.
Right.
Yeah.
People will ask us, well, how did these things happen? And, the very first record, I mean, going back, we got a Wall Street Journal article.
Wow.
I mean, you can't plan that. I mean,
Yeah.
it either captured the attention of the entertainment writer at that
Right.
point, or somebody pitched it to him and he listened to the record and dug it, and the next thing you know, we got on Conan O'Brien, and then we did a
Yeah.
Grand Ole Opry with Charlie Daniels. I mean, just things that you can't really say we're going to do this
Right.
and have it happen.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Son. We didn't know what we were going to do.
Right.
In all honesty, we had done a gospel record with Gaither Music, and they had approached us about that about 2 years ago, I guess, and the record came out about a year and a half ago. And it was delightful. They were great to work with. Just every step along the way did exactly what they said they were going to do and made it super easy. And it's basically, business-wise, so smart because they're leasing it from us. We still retain ownership of those masters. So at some point, it'll revert back to us, and we'll have that. The first 5 records, we'll never own those masters unless at some point down the line we try to buy them from
Right.
Right.
Concord
We'd have to
or around.
re-record them.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, which is a big current trend in recent years, of course. But lo and behold, Gaither bought Sun Records last year.
Wow. Okay.
And so they have rebranded the whole thing as Sun Entertainment, and Gaither is now an imprint under that, in addition to Sun, and they have, I think, 2 or 3 other labels under that umbrella. So that's
Right.
they came to us and said we would love to have the SteelDrivers do a secular record on Sun, and
Right.
Brent was the first one that went.
You don't get asked to be Elvis's label mate that often.
Right. No, and it is amazing. And I've played.
And Brent doesn't like anything.
She's mainly talking about labels, but another story.
I have
Yeah.
a very close friend of mine. And she's a huge fan. And of course, when she saw that you folks were coming here, she said to me, "So this is not the real SteelDrivers. This is a tribute band." And I said, "No, it's the real SteelDrivers." And she said, "You're kidding me." I said, "Linda, it's the real SteelDrivers." I said, "Why would you think?" And she said, "Oh my God, I love them." And so for the last.
Now maybe next year we'll get the younger,
we need to
hipper
look at it as
version.
tribute.
Yeah, this tribute band.
You bet. But she, for weeks
Get
now,
them out on the
we have
road.
played SteelDrivers, and to go over the 20-year span, and of course, like any musical group or musician or individual in talent, the style and the flavor and the flair is there. But when you listen back 20 years ago, and then with a little bit of that gospel style music that one of the last CDs that came out, and you get the whole span in there. And we did it and shuffled it. And it was
that's
just
fun.
really cool that we had that going on, and we were doing this trivia. So she was at the show last night, and just, so
That's
the diversity of the fan base. I mean, we had them from 5 years old
Yeah.
to 85-year-old here last night. I mean, there's
Yeah.
3-4 generations that follow you folks.
Yes.
That's a big testament.
That's one of our pluses. We have
Yeah.
a wide range. So.
If you can, well, anyway, some social media places have us from 25 to 55 is kind of a sweet spot.
Right.
People my age don't like us much.
But
No, they do.
no, but that's not. But
They're a smaller percentage.
no, but the fact of the matter,
But
I mean, when they come in the door here and you see that
Oh,
span
yeah, I
of folks
love
that are
it.
in here, and we had Gene Watson in here back a little while ago, and he was up here, and we were talking
I
about.
love him.
And what a
So
cool
good.
guy! And just a
Yeah.
cool guy, and we got talking. His big write up was in Playboy magazine. No, he was like the most
Wow.
one of the biggest country artists that folks were not aware of.
Right.
That the Playboy article blew his career up for him.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
yeah. And
Never
so
heard
we
that
got
before.
we got kidding about that, and his fan base, he kids. I said, Gene, we love having you come in here. I said, but there's usually only about 20-30% men, and the rest are women. And
Yeah.
I said, and they're coming in and they're throwing their panties. Oh, Gene. And he said, and Jordan will test. And he said, Mark, when I started my career, the panties were this big, and now they're this big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but the point is, for his fan base,
Yeah.
Gene doesn't
They've stayed with him. Yeah.
Gene doesn't have the 10, 20-year-olds coming in. his fan base, and he knows it.
Yeah.
I mean, he caters to it. But you folks, I mean, we had families coming in here that were in their 20s and 30s bringing
Their
kids.
Yeah.
Elementary school, middle school, high school kids, 3 generations of family. And that's, that's cool. Gives you that shelf life.
Yeah, I've had lots of like adults come up to me saying, my kids turned me on to you guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is really cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
And but I wanted to say something because we didn't really touch on this guy over here, Brent, that in the history part of this,
Yes.
that he started flying with us some in 2009. And then you came in officially in 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
2012,
January
and we did Hammer Down, and then Muscle Shoals, and that's when we actually won a Grammy. So that was cool. And Brent also is a Grammy-winning sound engineer and producer.
I read that about him
Yeah,
as well.
and played with Dolly, which I'm jealous of, and several other people. So just wanted to make
So
sure.
Brent doesn't go around telling people that you got your Grammy because.
No.
No.
You get him for the.
I know.
Yeah.
No, but
I could. I could start saying that. Yeah. It would be wrong.
Won't change your pay, will it? No,
Yeah.
no, the band won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thanks for that, Mikey.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And
No.
we'll get the history of you coming in here. So,
Yeah.
and it's been a long time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So you folks have done great and phenomenal career. And
Speaking of our audience, though, we've actually been playing frat parties. That's the truth. That is the truth.
I wouldn't doubt that.
It
I
is
mean,
true.
again,
Played 2 big old frat parties.
it's amazing
Yeah.
how popular that bluegrass has come around. I mean, are you guys
Yeah.
going to be playing some Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd in your show?
No.
Okay.
No, we just do what we do, and
We what you
these
do, yeah.
20-somethings.
But that seems to be the new spin, right? With
Yeah.
some of the
Oh,
bluegrass to get.
Yeah.
And if I can, I don't want to, but I want to mention the special guest you brought for this weekend with us, the Troubadour Blue.
Oh yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
what, between 25 and 30? So they're
Babies.
the age of, younger than my younger kids so to see them, and they are phenomenal, and
Yeah.
you chose a great band to come and
Those
compliment.
are Tammy's people. She
Yeah.
records.
They're my babies.
but they are good people.
They are
They're
great
really
kids,
nice people.
Great
and they
kids.
have
Very
they have,
professional.
the whole night. I think people, when we have bands of your caliber that come in here, and then there's an opening act or a special event or guest, and they come in, and some folks, and you've seen it, we've done it, where you wait and you come in late because you just want to wait for the main event to come on.
Yeah.
And folks came in here last night, and they lit the room up. I mean,
Yeah.
they lit the room up,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun. And I know I have a lot of comedian friends, so when a feature act goes out and really hits the room hard, and I've been backstage with them and said, you got to follow that. And you guys came out here and just, they lit the room up, but you guys just tore it down. The whole night, the energy level was amazing.
Yeah.
All night.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
I tell you this, and the people, because I met a few of the folks here and folks that come see us. This region, the people here are just so nice and friendly. The lady at the Fairfield, Robin, she came to see us because her husband loves us, and they played one of our songs at the funeral, and so. But the people in this area are just friendly and so nice, and the audience, they were just wonderful.
Yeah.
They were there with, it's like a big living room's what I
It's
like.
a destination location. They're not here to see Jordan or I or any. They're here to solely come and enjoy the night and watch all of you perform. And we're not downtown big city USA. When people say, "What do you think the walk-up's going to be tonight?" and I'll tell them, "None." We don't have walk-up. There's no walk-up.
People wandering the back streets of Wall.
They're not just wandering around like downtown Nashville or Charlotte or Atlanta or Columbia or Greenville.
That's a good point. Yeah.
They are here. They plan. So when we know what ticket sales are, there's not 100 walk-up. There's no bus rolling in here the night of the show. The tickets are what they are, but again, you folks have just clobbered it, and so we're excited to have you in here, and thank you, and appreciate you coming up. Taking the time
absolutely.
to lay down a little bit of fun.
Pleasure.
Put it out to your fans.
Yes.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks,
So,
Mark.
thank you. I
Really
appreciate
appreciate it.